Yo, we here with a brand new episode. It's BNF podcast, man. I got a special episode for y'all niggas today, man. Shout out to Probity Tax Services, man, sponsoring this episode. Shout out to Stadium. We here in Kerm Sharp, 69 North Main Street. We here in Randolph. We in the Dolph. Come and check them out. What else sponsorships we got? Nickel and Dimes. Shout out to my niggas, man. Love Health Cafe. Go get that BNF smoothie. Stay healthy out here, man. And like I said, Probity Tax Service. Tax season's upon us, man. You got to get right. And I tell women out there, stay away from men like me, because men like me is going to come in your life during this time of season and tell you what you can do with 10 bands, what you could do with that refund money. Stay away from niggas like that. I know I sound like a simp right now, but I'm just trying to educate. You know, guys like me with great ideas. Stay away from that. Invest your money. You don't need a lipo. You don't need a bag. Invest your money. Let's do that. But we here with a special episode, man. Like I said, shout out to Stadium again for, you know, those are my brothers allowing us to come in the store and shoot this dope episode. I got my man Jim Jones with me today, man. Hand clap for my guy Jim Jones, man. Jimmy in the building. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling pretty good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. It's a new year, 2025. I'm just happy to be here, brother.
Me too.
You got any goals or any bad habits you plan on cutting out for 2025? Is it a new Jimmy this year or?
I don't know if it's a new Jimmy, but I try to improve on who the old Jimmy was all the time. New Year's always bring new goals, new ambitions, new things I want to try, new money to go after.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I feel like 2025, I always say it's an important year because new presidency, I don't know what to expect. The economy is down. So I feel like it's a year where niggas really got to get focused and really get their shit together, man, because we don't know what 26 is going to look like. So you better stay down and get your chicken right, for real, for real.
100%. Definitely got to get your chicken right.
I'm on my 90-day no liquor. That's something I'm changing.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't really drink like that.
You don't?
So, no.
I don't smoke.
So we even.
I'm a fake smoker. I only like to smoke in the club to look cool.
So we even.
Yeah, it's an even exchange. But how you feel about Boston? I know you've been to Boston plenty of times.
Yeah, Boston is cool. Got family out here.
Oh, you do?
Shouts to Nux, shouts to HT, shouts to Manny and all them boys.
Okay, yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to Manny. Shout out to them. Shout out to my nigga Millies too.
Yeah, shouts to Millies.
Yeah,
that's
my guy. That's my guy.
My artist Nux out here too. You heard?
Yeah. Shout out to
Juju
too. I seen Juju.
Yeah, shouts to Juju too.
Yeah.
Ju came up here with me. You know,
yeah.
She migrated to New York. You know, New York probably is a little bit better for an artist per se, as far as the networking and
yeah, like that's
heard.
one thing I don't like about the city. I feel like a lot of people feel like they gotta lead their town to pop. I feel like musically, Boston is growing. And
see, that's what I'm saying. Is not nothing against Boston, but there's certain towns when it comes to the music that you have a bigger advantage of being in the town as opposed to being out the town. Like Boston has incredible artists here and things like that, but it comes to a point when you're in Boston, you're gonna have to go to the towns that's popping. Like you see Millie's is got popping in Boston, and now he's in New York and all these other towns networking
and he was
and
also
stuff
going
like
to
that.
New York too.
So, and not to say nothing like, but it could be Miami, it could be Atlanta, it could be New York, it could be LA. These are like hubs for music where you could bump into people that's likewise, like-minded, like you are, shit like that, other artists, big artists. You never know what might happen. Now, you bumping into a big artist or that type of motion in Boston is not likely unless you have an artist coming to do a show or something like that. Is what I'm saying.
True.
You know what I mean?
I feel like there's a lot of hate in Boston among niggas. The gang culture in Boston's a little bit different. So it's a small city, even though Boston is known as a big city, but it's a real small city. And there's a misconception about Boston too, like there's no black people here in Boston. And Boston's real thorough, so I feel like because of the gang dynamics and the hood dynamics, the support is kind of like, it's funny style.
Well, I'll tell you this. In every hood and in every city community is the same thing. to the people that's from there when it comes to them trying to excel and get out of there is going to feel like that. But one thing that negates all that is you having undeniable music or you having a hit. That's when everybody starts to chime in because a hit is a hit.
Yeah.
It don't matter about the hate.
Yeah, niggas
You know
still
what I
gonna
mean?
bump the shit.
So it's about how hard you go after music, and then you gotta really grind. You gotta learn. You gotta figure out how to turn some of that hate into what you need it for, and things like that. You know what I mean? Like they paying attention if they hating.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like when niggas come to Boston, niggas from OT come to Boston, whether it's the athletes, the industry niggas, they fall in love with Boston because we got joints out here. We got nice joints, and I feel like Boston's not used to stardom. So when niggas come here, they have their way. Like, there's athletes that I seen leave here to make more money, and I see them back here in the summertime at parties. I'm like, nigga, didn't you get traded? Why are you still in the town? Like, so Boston's one of them cities where I feel like a lot of artists love to come here because they get to play, you know? So yeah, I get that. And we got, you know, we're known for the best food. I think we got better food than New York.
No, I wouldn't exactly say that, but Boston got some good food. I wouldn't say that, but the thing about New York is a compiled gumbo of every culture in the world, so it's kind of hard to beat that.
Sports, we got it.
Oh, here we go.
You know, every time I run into a New York nigga, they know what time it is. We got it. We got that. We're a city of champions. That's what we do.
Got the chip.
We put banners up.
Okay, I'm not gonna have a basketball.
I'll get y'all niggas can rap. Okay,
I'm not gonna have a basketball argument with you. I got nothing. I ain't got shit when it comes to basketball. But I do love my Knicks and I do love my Nets. You heard? I will say that I'm a New York nigga by all means.
Yeah, as you should be. So, I want to really talk to you about me growing up and how you ruined my life. And what I mean by that is when I really got off the porch and used to come out with these vlogs back in the day on YouTube. This is during the Bird Gang era. I'm seeing you in Miami running around with Stacks, Max, going to the clubs, fucking shit up, having that shit on. And I'm like, damn, niggas got the ACGs with the Trues, and niggas is saying on the tracks that niggas just blew a dub in the club, and I'm like, damn, this is what's going on. This is another world out here, and that's what really made me start traveling and seeing the world differently. I want to hear about those times for you, as far as just going to the clubs and just, you know, putting it down like that.
When we first started, it was very exciting. It was nothing like the thrill, nothing like the rush to have money to blow like you want. Then after that, it just become a cycle, become repetitious after a while. It's the same thing.
It gets addictive.
I mean, yeah, it gets addictive.
The lifestyle definitely
even
gets
now,
addictive.
it depends on what level of place in a man and things like that, and you know, your competitive spirit kicks in and shit like that. But you know,
there's definitely a competitive spirit in the club when you know, bottles, tables,
it's
tables.
the whole atmosphere. From the drip to the tables to the bottles to how your section looking to how you pull up. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
You know?
So for me, it's like when it comes to that type of lifestyle, which I feel like now, I don't know how it is in New York, but for the city I'm in, Boston, it's kind of, people's not partying like that. Niggas ain't really popping bottles like that.
It's not the same, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same. Why you think that?
I think it's like that everywhere.
Even Atlanta, Miami, and all the major cities?
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but you know, it's a climate change right now.
Yeah.
I would say things are more on the down than they are on the up. Now you got hustlers out there that's doing extremely good. The hustle never gonna stop. So if you know how to hustle, you know how to sell shit. And I don't mean drugs. I mean sell shit, sell anything.
Yeah.
Man. You're gonna make you some money. But for the average people out here, it's kind of hard.
When we talk about the word hustling, it doesn't have to be illegal. And when we talk about that, the Ghost of Rich Porter, when you dropped that was something that was also influential. And I feel like one thing about you, you're probably not recognized as like a rapper who's like a trap artist. And what I mean by that, when I think about, you know, Young Jeezy and I think about Young Scooter down south, that's what they are. But for me personally, that's what you represented for me, is like you on the East Coast, you, Pusha T. It was that motivation and pretty much that hustling spirit to go out there and get it. Do you view yourself as an artist like that?
My music is definitely for motivation to those who came from where we come from, as far as being from the bottom and having nothing, no options or no opportunities, but still figure your way out. Well, that's what I represent in my music.
And I feel like that's missing. You know, you spoke about it. If you're a hustler, you're always gonna find a way to get money. But I feel like right now the hustling spirit is gone. I just don't feel it no more.
Well, the hustle is different. The days are different. I don't know how old you are, but
37. I just turned 37.
Oh, so you come from a different era. You come from a different era where the drugs were the main thing that were being hustled, and with drugs was a lot of cash, and with cash, it make everything look good. Nowadays, the hustle is a little bit different. They scamming and bamming. Shit is digital. They on cars. They on credits. They swiping and biping and all type of shit like that. You dig? So it's a little bit different and shit like that. And with that, there's no re-up. And there's no responsibility out here when it comes to the hustle or the scammers. And it's a whole different culture out there. These kids are using drugs instead of selling drugs. We were selling drugs instead of using them. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't know what credit cards was. We was all on cash on demand, but they have an advantage because they know a lot about financial literacy by knowing how to manipulate these digital systems when it comes to cash and shit like that. I consider them to be geniuses. They call them scammers, but, you know, they really like what they call the white people when they be
the white collar crimes,
shit like that. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like the scammers took away from that hustling spirit, and do you feel like scammers fucked up the game too, as far as just niggas are lazy now? Niggas don't want to work. Niggas don't want to grind for it.
I would definitely say they didn't fuck up the hustle spirit, because them niggas do be hustling. They get into a bigger bag than I seen a lot of niggas selling drugs ever would get. You know what I mean? And they getting it fast, and to the point where they are being lazy about it, because they know they ain't got to do too much to get it. They ain't got to move out their shoes and socks to get it. They could wake up in their boxes and get it. All they need is a laptop.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You heard? So it's a way different hustle. We had to wake up, put our shoes and socks on, long johns, our coats and everything, go out there in the midst of the cold and hustle packs of crack. It's a big difference.
And move around. Not saying they don't, move
and
around.
And we didn't
pieces.
have no digital components with us. Everything was hands on. It wasn't no IG and none of that. You had a cell phone back when we was hustling. So you know what I mean.
And networking too. Communication. I feel like as a hustler, a real entrepreneur, you had to go out there and meet people, shake hands. You had to have a rep like, yo, this is my man. This is who he is. This is where he's from. There was a lot to it being a hustler. It was just more than just, pushing a product. It was charisma. It was, there was a lot to it. I feel like when it comes to scamming, it's just pushing a few numbers and that's it. You don't even have to see nobody.
You don't. And you ain't got to shake nobody's hand and meet nobody anymore because everything is so digital.
Yeah. Let's talk about the rapping. What made you want to start rapping?
Niggas was getting a lot of money.
Is rapping something that you always felt like you seen in your future, or you're just around niggas who rap and it's like, fuck it, man, I'm just gonna start rapping too?
Making a lot of money was something I always seen in my future. It didn't matter to me what it would be. I was very smart coming up. I could have did enormous amounts of things to get this type of money, but I just happened to be in the right place at the right time and with the right circle of young individuals that had ambition and creativity, and they was nice at rapping. And, I was included in the bunch by way of default.
Yeah, but even by default, now, as years go on, you've been in the game for like 20 plus years.
Yeah,
like you could rap, bro.
Going on like 30.
Going on 30, you could rap. So even if it's by default, I want to know like that moment when you was like, yo, this is like, I'm really nice.
I taught myself to be nice. I saw there was a hustle, and I was like, I got to get onto this hustle. Oh, niggas gonna leave me in the dust. No different than any other hustle. Niggas start selling crack. I had to figure out how to sell crack. It started from being a lookout. After lookout, you watch for police, but you watching how niggas hustle. From then they turn you into a pumper. You had to learn the skill of that. After that, you got to learn the skill of motherfucking cutting and bucking. And then after that, you got to learn the skill of cooking that shit up yourself. And after that, you got to get ready to meet the plot. Everything is a process. It was no different. You dig? I didn't expect to be the best coming out the box, but I had ambition and I had style, and I knew I was that nigga no matter what. Nobody could tell me. And it wouldn't have to be with no rapping. I just felt like I was that nigga my whole life, and not to be cocky or none of that type of shit, but I felt like I could do anything I wanted to do.
Talk your shit. Ain't nothing wrong with that, having that confidence.
I'm a jack of all trades. You know what that mean, right?
Yeah.
Tell me.
That's a person who's good at many things.
No.
And could do many things.
No. I'm the master of one, but I'm the master of none, but better than the master of one.
It's a teaching moment right now.
You heard? So that's how I approach life my whole life.
But with that being said, there's still a certain identity as an artist that you have. You have a certain sound. There's a certain flow. The ad-libs. You was the one I was hearing really on the ad-libs and really, making a song off just having that dope ad-lib and the soundtracks and all that. So I feel like you have your own identity when it comes to music. It's just more than you just, doing something that you're good at.
Because in the beginning, I wasn't the most skilled rapper. I had great concept, and what I was talking about was directly to the street and pain and things like that. But I had to do other things to make my music feel dope. So you understand what I'm trying to say? And them ad-libs were kind of part of my verses more than they were ad-libs. Is what people don't know. When you listen to them ad-libs, they were kind of explaining what I was just talking about on the verse. That shit was like a thesaurus in the middle of my rhyme.
You have like a certain talent outside of the music. I feel like a scout. You know how to put talent together. You got an ear for good music, and I heard people say they never knew Max B had that in him, but you seen something in Max. What did you see to make you had that decision to be like, you know what?
I didn't see nothing in Max at first. The story goes, Max always had a fly way of speaking, and he always been in and out of jail. And every time I was seeing him, he would say some fly shit. I told that nigga last time I seen him like in a skate key before he got locked up the second whatever time and shit like that. I was like, yo, bro, if you figure out how to rap as fly as you talk, nigga, you gonna make some money. And then he ended up getting locked up again. And then he came out, and then one of my other friends named Mike and shit like that, he was like, yo, Max came home, he really got some shit, like he got some shit. And they bring him to the studio, and I would start laughing. I was like, you remember what I told you, nigga. If you could figure out how to rap the way you motherfucking talk, you gonna be on. And that's how it went.
And as far as, how did you meet Stax?
Stax ran down on me in a club Babalu's, I believe, like that. Had on one of them big furs and shit like that. Stax was mad animated and shit like that. I already knew who it was and shit like that. I knew he was signed to Clue and shit like that.
Yep.
You dig? And I thought that he was very talented. But that day, I couldn't let him know that. I felt he was very talented in the midst of what I was doing. You know how the game go and shit like that. But I didn't ignore him, but I didn't give him the love that he wanted. But I could see it. But I wanted to see how adamant he was about meeting me, because in my mind, I'm like, I got to figure out how to snatch this artist and put him on my label. Because I see he was doing music, but Clue had a lot going on at the time, and him being one of the biggest DJs with himself, and him having Fab and shit like that. So I saw that Stax wasn't a priority up there, even though he was in the city buzzing, and I was like, these niggas not seeing how dope this nigga is as an artist, like super dope. So after that day, we started to forge a bit of a relationship and shit like that. Nothing too big, like here and there. And then one day I had somebody call and like, tell that nigga Stax I want to come to the studio. He came to the studio and I told him, yo, I'm gonna give you an ultimatum. Well, not an ultimatum. I'm gonna give you a choice. I said, I want you to sign to this label. Is that something you would like to do? He was like, yeah. I was like, but you gotta sign to the label before you leave this studio session tonight. You dig? Like, you gotta let Clue know that this is what you're doing, and then tomorrow I'll put you on the phone with some lawyers and get you a bag and shit like that.
That's how it started. I remember seeing Stax on, first time I ever seen him or heard his music was on Watching Smack DVD, and he was on his ride squad.
When I really heard him when he was like, I know you love Cam and them Dipset. I know you don't love me. He did his freestyle.
Yeah, I know you don't love me. You ain't the same.
I was like, yeah, nah, that nigga's super special. Super special.
Yeah, those were some great times. So how do you form Bird Gang? So now you got Max, you got Stacks.
Well, I formed Bird Gang because I knew there was a lot of talent out there. I knew I was a businessman. I knew I wanted to give niggas opportunity. I knew I was starting to be in a position to give niggas opportunity. I knew that Diplomat was a thing that was curated by me and Cam and then Jewels and Zeke, and the people that we started to sign. The Diplomats was like a special thing. Like you just couldn't, you know what I mean? And then, but I also knew there was talented people that I wanted to put on, and people that I had around me that showed me talents and shit like that. So I started to do my own thing on the side, so I wouldn't interfere with what we had going on with the Diplomats and shit like that. And whatever I did on the side would just be a sub-component and a backup for whatever we had going on and shit like that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like during that time when Bird Gang was coming out, I think Jewels was also forming Skull Gang.
Well, I think around the same time, here or there, around the same time, a little bit after and things like that. You know,
but I felt like
Jewel started going more into Bird Gang when he started to straight out his Diplomat business with Cam and things like that. You know what I mean? I was already on Bird Gang not too long after we did the Diplomats.
And I felt like Diplomats during that time was kind of like, it wasn't fading away, but it was kind of quiet. I feel like everybody was doing their own thing.
I remember the Bird Gang, Jewels kind of created the Bird Gang from off his records when he was like, the whole Bird Gang's in here. Yeah. That's when the Bird Gang started. I was like, the Bird Gang? And then I remember seeing, what the fuck was that Gladiator movie with Brad Pitt in it? What the fuck?
No.
Troy. And that was he had the niggas in all black. You know what I mean? So I felt like Bird Gang was like them niggas in all black, and Diplomats was like the kingdom that the niggas in all black was protecting. That was kind of bizarre in that way back then. Word.
Was Mel part of Bird Gang?
The captain. Shouts to Mel. He'll be home real soon.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Shouts to Shotty. Shouts to Hoff. Shouts
Free
to all my
niggas,
real
man.
rights. Shout to Gato.
And I have a thing too, like, this is just a general topic, and I tell niggas all this time, if you're gonna say free somebody, make sure you send them some bread. A lot of niggas out here saying free this person. It's been 5 to 10 years. I haven't sent nobody no chicken. Me, when I say free a nigga, I'm sending some chicken. So you see me say free niggas. But free all them guys, man. Free everybody in the chain gang, man. But
I respect
are you the reason why?
I respect what you said, because there are a lot of bozos out there that be screaming free somebody and don't do nothing to help nobody get free. And I know it's hard out here on everybody, but nigga, you ain't.
It don't gotta be money.
You ain't even bringing no toilet paper to his mama house. You know what I mean? Whatever. Every little bit counts and shit like that. But no, I do. I definitely take care of numerous amounts of people that are locked up and things like that. And I take care of. I help them out while they're being.
You don't feel like sometimes that's a lot of pressure? It gets too much. I already told niggas, like, I don't want no more jail friends. I don't want no more jail friends. Like, that shit is a lot. You know, like, I tell my niggas all the time, yo, bro, I don't got it like that. You know, I do what I can for niggas. And like I said, it don't gotta be money. It could be flicks. It could be, picking up the phone call. But that should be a bill sometimes. I feel like sometimes niggas will take advantage of you.
I mean, we live 2 different lives, so I'm been blessed to be in a position that I can help people out there are in those positions and things like that. And unfortunately, most of my friends that I grew up with are dead or in jail, and the few that did good for themselves, they out the way. So, you know what I mean? While I'm still in tune with all my comrades, I make sure I do what I can for them.
Are you the reason why Mel started rapping? Did you get him to start rapping?
Mel started rapping. Funny story. We on the tour bus. They always freestyle on the tour bus. I never even knew Mel. I never knew this nigga could do anything else but gangbang. And I mean that wholeheartedly. That's my heart right there. But just knowing how much of a great heart he was, I chose to keep him next to me. Like, there was something special about Mel, and it wasn't about rapping. It was just like the passion he had and how dedicated he was towards helping me. I didn't have nobody around. me that was that dedicated on whatever the mission was for me to be successful. You know what I mean? And it was like, wow, like just seeing it. It's dope. But we on a tour bus one day, everybody rapping and shit like that, and then hear a nigga rapping in the back. I said, like, Melly, I go back there. Like, nah, Melly going crazy. I'm like, let me hear something. But he not rapping like he got shit written down. He's just straight freestyling. He freestyled from number 1 to 100. Like I'm talking about cold. I was like, when we get back, you got to go in the studio and start rapping. I don't even want to have this conversation with you again. Like, it was like, spare me, nigga. You got something. And that's how Mel Murder started rapping.
Some of my favorite records from you, I don't know your relationship with him today, is with Sin City. I feel like you and Sin City went on a run.
Nah, that's my partner.
Yeah, y'all was like on a Batman and Robin, like Shaq and Kobe type, and he used to get on the hooks and do his verses. Y'all had like a legendary run.
I still call him out every now and then, Mr. Nighttime himself. You won't see him in the daytime.
How did that start? You and Sin, like,
I know Sin from age of 6 and 7. We grew up in 1199 on First Avenue in Harlem. That's I don't know if you know anything about Harlem. So
I never been to Harlem.
Age of 6, I moved to 1199 to go to school over there. And Sin and them lived in a complex. It was a 4-building complex, high rise, one of the first in Harlem back in the day, condos and shit like that. So they considered us to be kind of spoiled over there in the middle of the hood and shit like that by living in them places and shit like that. So I knew Sin from a very early age, and I watched Sin navigate through the streets. Sin is an ill nigga. I can't tell you that. Word.
Yeah, I had some classic joints. Baggage Claim is still
Baggage Claim is one of my favorite records of all time.
And I can still play that till this day. Definitely love that record. Backtrack a little bit. Dipset played a major role in the culture.
Okay.
That movement is one of the strongest movements we ever seen in hip hop. And just your experience with Dipset, like, how was that whole movement for you being a part of that?
Oh, one of the greatest times of my life. I don't think it'll ever be duplicated. And the feeling I got was just tremendous. The power, everything. Yeah. It was almost like a drug.
You think we'll ever see something like that again?
I doubt it. I mean, I think you'll see bits of it in different forms and things like that, but I don't think we'll ever get to see anything like that again because of the times. Everything was just different. Like, everything was so organic and not pushed on you in 1 second. It's hard to get that organic feeling when you could just, everybody could get it at the press of a button. Like, this thing had to spread like wildfire. It just didn't happen and things like that. So, you know, just to watch it grow was an incredible feeling. See, it's all about the journey, man. Everybody races to get to where they're supposed to go, but there's nothing without the journey, and our journey was very dope. Like an action flick almost, an expensive action flick.
Yeah, definitely. Y'all should have like a bio or one of them Netflix series just on Dipset alone. It's just so much layers to Dipset.
Yeah, it'd definitely be incredible.
Yeah,
there's 4 members that all live their own life, and together we form Voltron. So
yeah,
it's a hell of a story to tell.
Another thing I want to talk about is just about the climate that we're in today. I just feel like the streets is a reflection of the rap culture, and the rap culture is a reflection of the streets. They both influence each other. And I feel like now it's just different. Like now it's just, even right now, I just feel like the streets is watered down. You know, the rap game's watered down. Just like the niggas that are coming into the game.
Right now, there's no separation between the streets and the rap game. There was a point where rappers wanted to be like drug dealers, and the drug dealers was trying to get into the rap game. Natural progression and shit infused itself together and things like that. There's no separation of the two as artists come in the game with the same mentality, with nobody teaching them anything different. We was coming up, there was a thing called artist development that helped us out to decipher the two between how we should act in front of these cameras and things like that. That gave you an outlook on you having a business mindset instead of you just feeling like you in the street, you coming with the street mindset and hustling and things like that. There's no more of that, and because artists are so independent and making their own money, they don't have to go through that because the money's coming in and shit like that. So there you have the street element and knocks out everything else. So now this is where we at. It's like the Wild Wild West out here.
I feel like back in the day, just from watching, and even during the DVD era, you just couldn't be a nigga who just rap. Like you had to be validated. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you niggas really had to fuck with you. You really had to be official. 100%. And now when I watch it now, and I'm watching dudes be able to get through the crap.
Anybody could be a rapper right now. Anybody could be an artist. Anybody could go make a record. Anybody could get on Spotify and all these places. And you know what I mean? Like it's
that's crazy.
But then the competition is how good are you to rise to the top, that people will respect your music amongst the billions of people that claim to be rappers. Do
you think streamers today are getting too much power as far as their influence into the rap game?
I mean, influence is everything. That's what rap is all about. The more influence you have, the more records you sell. I'm not mad at these streamers at all. As I tell you, everything has changed, and we in a new wave of how people are making money and how kids want to see things, and gaming and everything is involved. So these streamers are very dope to figure out how to carve a lane and become more powerful than rappers are. Rappers used to be the superheroes. Now it seems like going up against streamers is kind of hard.
I don't think rappers like that, because I feel like streamers will never be respected by rappers.
I mean, it don't matter if the rappers respect them or not. There were a point where the rappers gave streamers the power. Now, the rappers gave the power. The streamers are giving the rappers the power. It's in reverse. Like rappers need the streamers before the streamers needed the rappers more than anything. Yeah. Now these rappers are running to the streamers. I'm talking about the top rapper. You see Kevin Hart doing 24 hours with Kai Cenat. Kevin Hart, one of the biggest famous people in the whole entire planet.
Climate's different.
Doing 24 hours with Kai Cenat because of how much influence he has from being a streamer. Can't beat that. Shouts to Kai Cenat and all them other streamers. What about the streamers
who's out here who's claiming they shutting down artists, though? They feel like they have so much power where they killing careers.
Well, I believe with all success comes power, and some people don't know how to handle power, and a lot of these streamers came up maybe not as aggressive as most of us did in the hood. I mean, I wouldn't call them nerds, but you know what I mean. So now they're in a place of power that they know they have this influence that they could push on people and shit like that, and they use their power in the wrong light. I believe that they need to be a little bit more responsible. But then again, who am I? I'm a fossil to them niggas. Like, oh nigga, you better be quiet before we cancel you. But I do believe the way they handle artists should be a little bit different. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no matter what goes on, there's a code inside of this culture that we got to keep up. You know, and it's for us and shit like that. So if you're gonna talk about somebody, make sure you uplift them, as opposed to just trying to drown a person who out here trying to get some money for their family at the end of the day. And whether you don't like something don't mean that the people ain't gonna like something and shit like that. So your opinion affects millions and millions of people's opinion and shit like that. Now you fucking up the sales or the money or the bag that I'm trying to get because you have so much influence. So that whole scenario is, you know, you got to think about that.
And that's why I'm not a streamer, but I told Jim Jones he couldn't smoke. He told me shut the fuck up. He's smoking. That's just what it is. Like, and I'm not gonna complain about it. Do you feel rappers feel too entitled?
Yeah. The more successful you become, the more entitled you become. You become a spoiled brat at a certain point of success because you don't really have to do anything. Everything is handed to you. Yeah. But the trick is when you get knocked off your pedestal, you're not as successful as you once was, you still feel that entitlement, and that's where it goes wrong. It hits you real hard that you're not that nigga you once was.
I also want to talk about Drake. Now it's official that he's really suing Universal.
Man, how many niggas you in the hood you know got lawsuits? How many niggas in the hood?
This is different though.
How? How many niggas in the hood you know got lawsuit money? How's it different? He's in a different realm, nigga. That's his hood.
But I feel like it's where the lawsuit. I feel like where the lawsuit's coming from.
Listen to me. Where's it coming from?
It's coming from a rap beef. That's giving them the motive to have the lawsuit.
You think about this shit wrong. You think about a bag or you think about a rap beef that's imaginary to the people. These niggas are playing on the highest level of fucking entertainment. $1 billion game. Now, if he could catch $1 billion game in the midst of a rap beef, shitting me? Are you kidding me?
I think reputation matters. I think your image matters.
Bro, he's not snitching on nobody. He's catching a lawsuit.
No, I'm not. This has nothing to do with it. I'm not calling him a snitch.
Let's get this together.
Because
he's not in a court of law. He's not have a personal suing against Kendrick Lamar, which everybody seems to think that this lawsuit is about. He didn't sue Kendrick Lamar. He sued UMG, which is the biggest company that has the biggest bag, nigga. You think I ain't gonna sue Amazon if I ain't get a chance to? Me suing everybody, nigga. Any one of them companies I get a chance to playing at that level to sue for billions, I'm going for it, nigga. Are you crazy?
I feel like there's unwritten rules, though.
Of what?
In the rap game.
Of what?
I'm never gonna use a beef as a way to sue a record label.
You're making up your own unwritten rules. If he was suing Kendrick Lamar for defamation of character directly, papers got sent to him. People in the hip hop,
you know how much people you could sue?
People here in the hip hop game should be in a uproar. Like, oh, this nigga. Well, when Tracy Morgan just caught that bag, we was happy for him, right?
Of course, those are correct. He almost lost his life.
So how the fuck we not gonna be happy about somebody who could get a bag from one of the biggest companies that been raping everybody anyway? You heard? So if it was on the flip side and a coalition of our smart rappers would have come together and be like, we're suing UMG for money retroactive for all of the bullshit games they've been playing and shit like that, it would have been, oh, hip hop wins, one for the culture. But because this man is smart enough to use his turbulence to go after a bigger picture, which none of us will ever be in them rooms anyway. He's suing UMG, bro.
I understand that.
Yeah, you talk about something you'll never ever understand the in and outs of when you come into that type of money. You heard? Like, so when we deal with the media, that's what we do. That's they heighten everything. And when you deal with rap and hip hop, they twist everything. This has no reflection of the street and the code of snitching on them. But you know what? No. You know what a real snitch is.
I never called him a snitch.
I'm just telling you. But this is what it insinuates and shit like that. When they doing it, you just said it's a certain code against the rap culture. That means what's the code? He's not keeping it tall. Don't say nothing because you said it.
No, I'm not able to talk.
You're not able to talk because you already said what you said. You said there was an unwritten rule that he shouldn't have did that. That means, what is the unwritten rule?
I'm talking when it comes to rap battle.
This ain't got nothing to do with rap battle. Them is penis. Ain't got nothing to do with it.
That's where I'm coming from.
The song is out. The song is out. It's still gonna bubble. It's out. Whatever the people perception of him winning or losing is out. It's done. He said, cool. That's how you'll feel, cool. Oh, it opened a door for Pandora's box? Oh, get them. 2 million? How many we could get? 3 billion? What? Yeah, we going after them. It's a whole different game. Y'all associating a motherfucking Brussels sprouts with apples. It's shit. I just think it's totally different things.
You can go about doing certain things. Is how you go about it. Why? I'm not mad at him suing. I'm not mad at him suing Universal. I'm not mad at that. I'm not. I'm just mad that he used
when the homie get hit by the car and sue for 50,000, niggas like, oh, I got this lawsuit money. I caught these niggas. Got this law. I know niggas that live off of lawsuits, nigga. I know niggas that whole lick is lawsuits, bro. Every week they neck hurt. You heard? Like every week they back hurt. Yo, I'm in here. I gotta go see the doctor. Or I gotta go to see the physician. Yo, about to get this bag. I can't. Oh nah, I can't go to the gym. You bugging out. You know them people might be like, nigga. That's what nigga. I know niggas that live off of lawsuits, nigga. What's the difference?
Can I ask you a quick question? Just throwing a scenario out there. So
and listen, if it was any other thing, I would call a red flag when I see one. But this got no reflection of the street. This got no reflection of the rap culture. This is a bigger and
this is the first time I ever seen this. I never seen this though.
And it's a dangerous thing he doing. It's some James Bond shit he's doing. He's doing some shit that's like taboo that niggas been scared to do.
I never seen this.
Only other nigga that was ill like do shit like this was like Michael Jackson, and we not gonna get into how that ended up for him and shit like that. But you could pull a files how smarter he was than the whole music industry and the things that he did that propelled so much shit around him and shit like that. That nigga brought the Beatles catalog while the Beatles was still smoking, nigga.
How do you think this ends?
Paul McCartney, after he had a conversation with him, brought him the next day. Like, that's all your shit costs? Let me get that too.
Quietly too.
And that was business. But they were so mad that it was a black man who was smart enough to do that business, it becomes a problem. Now, if it was a white company or something that brought that same publishing that was up for the same price, they would have had no problem with it. That would have been their partner. You dig? And let me not even get too deep because niggas start talking about, yo, I don't know. I don't get into that. That's just, I'm just all on the gram. I'm just watching shit I see on the gram and shit like that. And I got common sense. But this is the type of game we playing. So look at where we at in the world and shit like that.
How do you think this ends, though?
I don't care. It's not none of my business. You getting that fucked up too. You ask me a question, I'm just answering. I don't give a fuck about how it end. I'm not gonna get a piece of the bag if he end up cashing out. You heard? You dig? Still gonna be my nigga. Shouts to Drake and shit like that, but I ain't got nothing to do with that shit. It has nothing reflection on me. I don't even know what it's about. You dig? Like,
I think it's a monumental move because it's the first time we ever seen something like this. You know, I guess we agree.
And that's what people are missing, and that's what they want you to miss. That's why they're painting that narrative to hopefully it'll crumble what's going on. You heard?
Mm-hmm. Moving along from that, one thing I don't like, which to me is some street shit, because I feel like the Drake shit is not. That's just business and just the rap shit. I know you're a passionate person, and there's certain things that you give energy to, and there's certain things that you don't give your energy to. I feel like you have a lot of emotional intelligence. But I feel like when people try to create certain narratives about you and play with your name, especially people who done fouled out the game and done did the cardinal sins, and they're able to go on certain platforms and people listen to them and give them a space to even speak and say certain shit about you, and they're not even cut from that cloth and they already fouled out the game. How does that make you feel?
Listen, man, not to be no funny, man. They hated on Jesus because he made life look too easy. If you were sick and he walked by you, hit you with a high five and you was better, what you think they had to do with him? So, not to say I'm Jesus or anything, but in that manner and shit like that, that's just life. You heard? People gonna hate on shit they can't understand, on shit that they can't be, but admire to want to be like. You heard? Like, so just remember that. Hate come from a place of love at the end of the day. I should not be on your mind that much that you should spew hatiness out your mouth, especially if I ain't say nothing about you.
And not only hate, but false information. Because one thing about the public, there's a lot of shit that public don't even know, and how shit works, how the law works.
But people like to dim your light and take away your good favor, you know what I mean? Dirty your face card. That shit been going on for so long. Because, like I said, it's... Yeah. When people see some shit they cannot be like, it becomes hard sometimes.
I heard Mel come out and spoke on it like, yo, that's big bro, you know...
But that was him that he did on his own. I have no time to clear up rumors.
Yeah, because I never hear you clear that shit.
I only got time to get money. You heard? That shit will clear up itself when it does. You heard? Yeah. You think I got time to be like, no, niggas is lying about that? How can I sit there and do that? I'd be just as bad as them.
Yeah.
You heard?
And
if you're a grown man and you got to take time out to talk about another grown man, then what that makes you? You heard? And not saying that I haven't said some wild shit about people and shit like that, but I don't take time out of my day to worry about other grown men, nor do I dedicate what I gotta do towards other grown men. If I got a problem with you, you'll know how I give it up. That's just it. And I'm just saying that. I'm just saying, like, you did. Like, I will see you when I see you, and we could talk about it when we see each other in person, because we never gonna see each other on the gram or any of these digital devices by talking about it that way. You heard? Everything I pretty much do is calculated and shit like that. And yeah, I've had a lot of emotional outbursts because I wear everything on my sleeve and shit like that. And that's what people need to know about me. I never lie. I talk about my losses the same way I talked about my victories the whole time of my career. My losses are more important than my victories, because I know with so many people going through what I've been going through by taking L's and shit like that. So it's like, yo, this niggas out here in opposition, I be going through shit too. You heard? And I've been going through that shit since I've been going through it.
Back to the whole streets being watered down, the rap game being watered down, to me, it comes to the point where certain individuals having voices and being able to speak on certain shit they had no business speaking on. That's just how I feel. But moving on from that whole situation, one thing I noticed about you too, again, about emotional intelligence, even though you are passionate, you need to write a book on how to keep a happy home, because your shit stays private. Even though you appeared on Love and Hip Hop, you know, you and your lady, y'all both in the limelight, but I never hear nothing. I never hear her go on the gram or her go on Twitter and out you or say anything negative about you, and I never see you do the same.
I mean, well, for us being on TV, we were selling this function. We had the opportunity to do business in a way that hasn't been done before, and I was through reality TV for the culture. But some things you got to keep to yourself, and that's our relationship. You know what I mean? So besides what people see on TV, we may have like 1% of what our real life is going through and shit like that. People don't know what we're going through besides our personal friends and shit like that, and we pride on ourselves on that and shit like that.
Yeah, I feel like that shows a lot of maturity because a lot of people can't do that. I feel like a lot of people run to Instagram and, you know, tell their problems. I feel like the blogs.
But we grown too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we ain't.
Maybe grown people out here out in their own business too.
100%. That's cloud is a demon. Cloud is a stronger drug than cocaine. I promise you. You sniff that, you ain't coming back, Jack.
Yeah. So my next question is this: if you're able to keep, you know, that business private and never going at it or talking about y'all differences or whatever, because every relationship had differences, how come we can't do the same thing when it comes to the bros and the family?
Because
I feel like that goes
because
public.
At the end of the day, this is entertainment. We got every dollar we make off entertainment. Everything we done was all out in the public. And when people say my name and shit like that, then and people asking me questions, then what the fuck, I'm gonna answer the questions too and shit like that. But I ain't going back and forth with nobody. As you can see, this wasn't about nobody else. This is about me. All my answers ain't about nobody but me. You asking me a question, I'm gonna answer it. I'm just like that. Like, what the fuck I got to lie about?
And I feel like people mention trying to take your Harlem card away from you, but even when I heard Harlem American Gangster, you know, people on the skits and Dame is saying, yo, this is Harlem Jimmy right here. So now why would you think that? And you even said it before. You even said you was
everything is for shits and giggles, man. I tell people, everybody laughs at the lies, but the truth still hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And imagine that. Imagine I was from Mars and I was able to come to Harlem and do more for Harlem than the people that are talking shit about me. How would that make you feel about yourself?
I'll feel disgusted. I'll be upset.
So you think the people would rather have around a nigga that's from Harlem that don't do shit for Harlem, or somebody that came from Mars and had the heart to do a lot for Harlem, and it's not even from
I'll take the Mars, nigga.
But I am from Harlem. I'm a New York nigga. I'm from Harlem, Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, Far Rock, anywhere around them parts. I'm a wholehearted New York nigga. When I go around this world and this country, anytime I step in my door, I bring New York with me. You heard?
How are you still relevant today, man? How are you still able to make money in this rap game today, bro? You've been in the game, like you said, almost 30 years, and you're still relevant. We're still talking about you. People are still booking you for events. You're still finding ways to still bring that income in.
Because I planted seeds instead of rocks when I first started. And these seeds are just starting to blossom and bloom. So, you heard?
Yeah.
The fruit of my labor, nigga. That's what I'm eating off right now.
What you got in stores for niggas, man? I know you got an album you're working on.
Album is done at the church steps. It's a 20-year installment, so on my way to church. I got a movie that goes with it. Single out right now, Harlem. Got a new single right now that I just dropped, or I'll drop it on Monday, called
that was a nice joint.
Jump off my Ayo. Shouts to IFC, influential community I have. It's called
What's the name of the movie?
At the church steps, but it's Opt Out the movie. It's based off of one of my records I wrote about regular hood shit that you see. Girls causing turmoil between two niggas that once was friends, shit like that.
And what inspired this album from you right now?
Well, the album I had been working on for the past year. I was gonna put it out like last January. And then somebody brought it to my attention. It was actually like my 20th year, 20 years to my first album coming up in August. So I said I was gonna hold it. One thing led to another. You know how life be, you know. But now we here, and I got an incredible album, which I'm hyped. I'm hyped to drop. I'm excited to drop it.
Is Vamp Life still a label? Is this still a thing? Because I always felt like Vamp Life was a movement. It was a fashion, we had the rap, and we had the workout. You was on your workout shit heavy during that vamp life movement.
Still all the above, you know. Working out is a way in life. That's the only way you get to stay young. You know what I mean? So, but everything still remains the same. Label, fashion, all of that vamp life. You could tap in. I actually have a distribution label. So any artist looking for distribution, you could tap in and help you out, put your music out.
What's your favorite project that you've done?
My favorite project that I've done? Album with someone with Miami on it. What was that? Miami.
That was that 04? Was that 04?
Nah, yeah, that's 04.
04, right?
Yeah, 04.
My favorite album from you is
05.
05 is El Capo.
El Capo.
That shit fire. I feel like it's an underrated album, and I feel like every time I have a nigga listen to
El
it.
El Capo was a whole different person. You know what I mean? Like, I named my favorite because I knew what I was doing, and I just was so excited to having my chance to change my life by figuring out how to get into the game.
Lyrically too, like lyrically, you did your shit on there, and the production. I don't know if you had hit makers on there, but the
El Capo was just different.
Yeah.
It was a different feeling of where I was at in life and how I was moving, the way I was rhyming, the music. Like, so it was like the evolution and the turning point of the way I make my music.
Today, what are the favorite artists that you like to collab with? Like today, I know you do music with Dave East sometimes, and
I mean,
Benny the Butcher.
There's a lot of artists out there I like to collab with. Slowly but surely, be collecting my bucket list. But shouts to Lil Baby, shouts to Future. They was up and had them on my block the other day. And actually, those are two.
Oh yeah, when I seen that snippet, niggas was in the club and.
Well, I did a record with Future already, a couple records with him, but naturally I still want to do some more music with him. And Lil Baby, he on my bucket list of artists I haven't gotten to work with. Or
was old boy part of Vamp Life, the one that was doing the pull-ups with no legs? Nigga was strong. I see that shit. It looked like Future was kind of bugged out off that.
He caught everybody off guard.
Was that planned or he just came up?
I don't know how that went. He was part of the video. They was like, yo, he need to do some pull-ups. I said, okay. Word up.
Yo, man, Jimmy, I appreciate you for coming through, man. And you're one of my favorite artists. And definitely, like I said before, you definitely fucked up my life. But you definitely motivated me to be out here and get to it. And not a lot of artists in the East Coast really do that for me. Like right now, like I say, Benny Butcher is that type of artist for me right now.
Shouts to Benny. He get busy. Shouts to Conway. Conway on my album.
Yeah, Conway, he's different.
Conway go crazy on the album too. We just straight rapping too. Shouts to King. Shouts to Peso.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, man. Shout out to you and whatever else you got going on, man.
Shout out to Cash Cow. I got my man Cash Cow with me. Got my, I mean, a few artists is about to start going crazy out here. I appreciate you too for sometimes in the height of everything that's going on, most journalists choose to try to approach the messy route, but you was very responsible in the way you conducted your interview.
I appreciate that, bro. You know that.
That's very dope. Right.
I think it's a respect thing too. Like when you respect your guests in a certain way, you angle things, and you already know what it is, And especially if you're a dude who's dealing with a person who's there's a certain way you ask questions, a certain way you just go about it.
I appreciate that, man.
Keep
that in mind when you interviewing other people too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, we out. BNF. Oh man, appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Move around, man.